friend. I was like, what's your name? He was like, Plan B. So I'm like, Plan B. What you mean to spell? Hey YouTube, it's your girl Maya, and I'm here with my first story time. And today I'm gonna be doing a story time on how I got lost in the mall and everything that led up to us getting lost in the mall, me and my sister. So let's get right into it. So this is what happened. So me and my sister wanted to get out the house because we was in the house all day, and when we're together, we gotta go. Like, we gotta go out. We're not trying to stay in the house. So I'm like, Sade, let's go to the mall. And she was like, okay, let's go. So I'm like, how we gonna get there? Your mama not home. Da, da, da. So she was like, I forgot what she said. Oh, she was like, we could take the bus. And I'm like, oh yeah, we could take the bus. I'm like, let's go to KP. Let's just take the train and go to KP. She was like, no, I don't know how to take the train. I'm like, we could look up that directions or ask somebody on the train. But Sade wasn't going for that. So I'm like, okay, so let's go to Green Acres. We're just gonna use our directions and take them 3 buses. So she was like, okay, cool, whatever. So we get to the first bus stop, everything cool, and then ride the bus all the way to the second bus stop. As we get to the second bus stop, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go no more. She was like, me either. So we was gonna walk back, but then the second bus came, so we was like, okay, we might as well go. So what happened? So we got on the bus, everything was cool, everything was Gucci. Second bus stopped at the 7-Eleven right next to the mall. So I'm like, okay, let's go to the 7-Eleven, get us some slushies, and get to moving. So we did that. So from there, we had to hop on another bus because we wasn't trying to walk 2 blocks. So we hopped on another bus and we was right there at the Green Acres. So then what happened after that? So as soon as we get in the mall, me and Sade is like, I'm like, I'm hungry. Sade was like, me too. So we went to the Wendy's. She was like, I'm hungry. I was like, me too. So then she was like, all right, let's go to the Wendy's. I'm like, okay, cool. The food courts are upstairs, mind you, in Green Acres. So I'm like, okay, let's walk over there. So as soon as we get in, we like, okay, let's find our way to the food court because we don't ever go to Green Acres. So as we're going there, there's these 2 boys going down the steps, and one of them had on some skates. So she pointed it out to me. She was like, you see that boy over there with the skates on? I'm like, yeah, he looks stupid. So then he had a friend, and I'm like, you see his friend just following him? Like, why? So we was clowning them as we going up the steps. So then what happened after that? Okay, so we get to the Wendy's. We see them come back around. Mind you, they was just up at the food court. So we see them turn around and come up there. So I'm like, Sade, they sitting at the table watching us. She like, no, they not. Da, 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 da. I'm like, they don't got nothing to eat. They just sitting there. They're watching us. So she was like, okay, so let's hurry up and eat and go downstairs. So then as we get up, they get up with us. And I'm like, why? So I'm circling around, mind you. I'm walking around. And then I'm like, okay, let's get on the escalator and go downstairs. So we get on the escalator, and then what happened after that? We get on the escalator and we're going down. And mind you, I'm running past people. I'm like, this not happening today. Boyfriend, I'm not trying to deal with this. So we running around, and then what happened after that? Okay, so as we circling around, I run into a store. Sade running into a store. So mind you, I'm like, you know what? My boyfriend finna call. I'm not worried about none of this. So I'm like, Sade, they could do what they want, because at the end of the day, any of them talk to me. I have a boyfriend and you have a boyfriend, so we're not worried about them. And then he was like, so no. And then she was like, okay, period. So we finna go. So I'm like, okay, we finna go to our stores. But mind you, they're still following us. So I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, I have a boyfriend. I'm not worried about none of this. So as we get to the store, one of the stores. They follow us in the store. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, oh hell no. I'm like, let's go. Let's get out. So we leave the store and then we walk to the back of the mall where there's a charging station. And at the time, my boyfriend had just called me. So I'm like, none of them could talk to me. They can't say nothing. So I'm on the phone, and this dude still walks up to my sister. Oh, he was like, oh, can I get your number? We can call him Alien. He was like, oh, can I get your Snap? And then she was like, no. He was like, well, give me your number. She was like, no, like, move. So then he gonna talk about I'm gonna do voodoo. Da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm like, Sade, we got to go. What are you doing? They're talking about voodoo. Talking about he can make a voodoo doll. So then he like, oh, if you don't do my Snapchat, I'm gonna make a voodoo doll and have you killed. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, he crazy. I'm like, okay, you can get her Snap. He was like, oh, that's who I want to talk to anyways. So then he was like, I'm not trying to get with y'all or none of that. I'm like, oh, I got a boyfriend. I'm not trying to get with you. You're not cute. Your friend's not cute. Y'all, I have a boyfriend. Like, get on my face. So then he was like, so give me her Snap. And then she was like, don't get my Snap. I was like, okay. So I didn't give him her Snap. I ended up giving him my Snap. And I was like, she don't want you to have your Snap. You can text me and I'll give it to her. Anyways, so as soon as we leave the mall, this dude texts me, oh, what's up with your sister? And then I'm like, oh, she got a boyfriend. He was like, F her boyfriend, da da da. I'm like, so then he's like, forget her boyfriend, da da da. Tell her to meet me up at the Sonic. And I'm like, ain't nobody trying to meet you at the Sonic. The buses are about to be closed and we live all the way in Rock. So he was like, so what are y'all doing all the way out here? And I'm like, we ain't want to take the bus to KP. So then he was like, oh, okay, y'all Brooklyn females. I'm like, yeah. And then he was like, well, I'm trying to see what's up with your sister. And I'm like, okay. And then I give him her Snap. So then that night, he told her to FaceTime him. So I'm like, do not FaceTime him. I'm like, don't FaceTime him. So then, I don't know what happened, but she ended up FaceTiming him. And we all got on group FaceTime. And me, her, because we was in the room together. So it was me, her, the boy, and the boy's friend. Okay. So we all in the room. And they get on the phone talking about something. Okay, mind you, we got lost. Let me skip that. So we on the bus and I'm falling asleep. So I'm like, I'm letting her talk to him and I'm asleep now. So I'm asleep and I'm like, Sade, why we not off the bus yet? And the man was like, oh, this the last stop. Da, 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 da. I'm like, this the last stop. He like, yeah. We live all the way in Rock, so where's the next bus? He was like, oh, you passed that bus stop. I'm like, oh my god, so when's the next bus coming? He was like, the next bus not coming until morning. Mind you, it's like 7 o'clock. So like, what are we gonna do? So then I look at the street and it's this Elmont. I'm like, oh, my family live close to here, so we finna walk. Over here looks familiar. We could go to Grandpa's house. So she's like, okay. Mind you, it's an hour and 30-minute walk. I'm like, I'm not staying out here. So we start to get to walking because we called people and they couldn't get us. So we get to walking. So as we're walking, we're crying. Okay, so as we're walking, me and Sade both were like, dang, we don't know where to go. So we walking in this neighborhood, and mind you, there's no lights over here, none of that. And these two older men start following us. So me and her's crying on the phone with our moms, and our moms are calling us stupid, because we're crying and we making ourselves look suspicious. So as they're following us, we're like, we finna get to a diner, So my uncle was trying to call us a taxi. And I don't know why we didn't get the taxi, but my auntie was like, no. So then her friend came to get us. Like, mind you, an hour later. So I'm like, and we're crying. So when we see the car pull up, we start running because we don't know. Like, it's slowly approaching us, and we forgot she was even coming. Mind you, it's raining. So I'm crying. I'm like, my hair gonna get messed up, da 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 da, because she had just did my hair and all that. So I started crying, and I'm like, oh my God, we're lost, da da da. And I told her it's all her fault, and we just got into it. So as we get in the car, we calmed down, and then from there, our auntie's friend had dropped us to her house, and then what else? What happened after? Our other auntie came to pick us up and was like, what were y'all even doing? And then I was like, oh, I fell asleep. So back to what I was saying. So me and Sade and the two boys get on FaceTime because Sade FaceTimed him, or he FaceTimed her. I don't even know how it went. But I'm over here chilling, and I just see them get on FaceTime. So I'm like, Sade, who you on the phone with? Because normally when she get on the phone, I'm like, who is this? Who are you? Like, what are you doing? So then the boy was like, oh, it's Alien from the mall. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, how he get your number? She was like, oh, I ended up giving it to him, da 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 da. So I'm like, we just got lost, and you're talking to a boy that just said he gonna do voodoo on us. Okay. And his friend on the call laughing. So I'm like, why are you laughing? He was like, y'all seriously got lost? I'm like, what you mean y'all seriously got lost? He was like, oh, Alien did what was it, Sade? I think she on mute. But he was like, Alien did a cast on y'all or something, and said y'all was gonna get lost. What was it called? A spell on y'all, and said y'all was gonna get lost. So I'm on the phone, and I'm like, I look at Sade, and Sade look at me, and I'm like, what? So then I was like to the friend, I was like, what's your name? He was like, Plan B. So I'm like, Plan B, what you mean a spell? Cause I'm concerned. Like, I'm concerned. He was like, oh, Alien did a spell on y'all, and knew y'all was gonna get lost. I'm like, what is going on here? So then Sade look at me, I'm looking at her, I'm like, Sade, these are crazy. I was like, they're crazy. She was like, oh God, they're crazy. I'm like, they just said. So then I'm like, oh, so explain yourself on how you did a spell on me, because I was out there crying. And then, like, why? So then he was like, you was really rude about giving me your sister's snap, da 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 da, and then you wasn't even trying to be friends. I have a boyfriend. I don't do friends. I have a boyfriend. But I was like, okay, so that caused y'all to do a spell on us. But from then, we ain't talked to them. And then one time, I remember they called this, like, no, they called her. And I was in the room, and he was like, I forgot what he said. He said something slick. I was like, oh, it's time for you to get blocked. But ever since then, we haven't heard nothing from them. I changed my snap because I'm not trying to deal with that. You're crazy. But that's the story time on how me and Shot. Alien wanted your snap. Anyways, that's the story time. He wanted you. And anyways, that's the story time. That's the story time on how Alien basically was hi Destiny, but trying to play us on some lame stuff and did voodoo on us. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe. And that's all to this video.